This happened when I was about 15 years old, back in 2008. My parents went out to the casino for the night, so it was just me and my dog Abby home alone. It was about 11 at night, and I was up messaging some friends on Instant Messenger and watching YouTube videos. As I was typing and chatting away, I heard Abby barking at something in the living room. I figured it might be my parents getting home and just waited. After about a minute or so of more barking and no sound of the door opening, I got up and went into the living room to check it out. Abby was facing the windows that looked out onto our driveway, still barking. I couldn't really see out of the windows because the lights were off outside, and it was really dark. I peered through the window and saw only the one car in our driveway, so I knew my parents hadn't come home yet. I chalked it up to Abby possibly hearing a neighbor's car door slam shut, or a particularly loud car driving by, as we lived on a main road with lots of noise, even late at night. I went back to messaging my friends, but over the next 5 minutes, I kept feeling like I was hearing noises around my house. Abby would stop and start barking again at different intervals. I was about to get up to calm her down when I could have sworn I heard a knock or a rustling sound at the living room door. I got up and slowly made my way back into the living room to look through the windows again. Nothing. I was starting to get a little nervous and was too scared to look into the peephole in case some crazy face was staring back at me. I double-checked to make sure the door was locked and was about to leave the room when the sound of knocking suddenly came from the side door of the house. My heart fluttered. I didn't know what to think. Like, did my parents get locked out and they were trying to get in? Was someone trying to break in? Was there more than one person? I barely had time to register those thoughts when I heard the sound of the doorknob from downstairs being shimmied with, like someone was trying to open it. Our basement was essentially under the house, with the entrance being pretty hidden. To get to that door, you had to walk around the entire house into our backyard and go under the deck. You'd either need to already know the door was there, or be really determined to find a way in. Abby was whimpering and barking louder than ever, running from room to room trying to locate the threat. It felt like the whole house was surrounded. The noises from the basement grew louder, and it almost sounded like whoever it was had managed to get it open because suddenly the noise stopped. My heart sank. I stopped breathing, standing frozen in the silence, just waiting for the next sound. Then, quick as a whip, Abby flew down the stairs and started growling maniacally at whatever was down there. Abby was a good-natured black lab who had never hurt a fly, but in this moment, I had never heard her sound more threatening. It felt like I was frozen in place for minutes. Finally, my fight-or-flight instinct kicked in when I realized Abby had stopped barking and growling. I called her upstairs and locked the door inside the house that led to the basement. I grabbed the home phone because I didn't have a cell phone yet and ran with Abby into the closet in my parents' room, where one of the guns we owned was stored. I sat there, armed and ready, about to call 911, when I suddenly heard the front door open. Abby sprinted out. I yelled no after her, but then heard the sound of my parents' voices. I ran into the living room to see them petting Abby and looking at me strangely. I spent the next several minutes recounting the events of the night to my parents. My mom was horrified, and my dad spent the next hour searching every corner of the house inside and out with his gun in hand. We didn't find anything, and I didn't sleep that night. The next afternoon, there was a knock at the front door. My heart immediately skipped a beat, and I instinctively darted into another room. My dad opened the door to find my Uncle Pete standing there with an envelope in his hand. Uncle Pete was a narcissistic creep, to say the least. He always mistreated my aunt and acted very weird around the kids and cousins at family parties. Nothing illegal as far as we knew, but he just had this way about him. You knew to try to avoid him. Growing up, I always felt a bit anxious whenever he talked to me. I can't remember anything specific he may have said, but his overall demeanor was unsettling. Even adults who spent too much time around him said he made them uncomfortable. I played softball, and his daughter, my cousin Kate, played in a league a few years below mine. I loved my cousin and always felt bad for her, having such a creepy dad. so I would often give her tips or help out her team with pitching and fielding lessons. My mom and I eavesdropped from another room and overheard Uncle Pete say something like, "I tried to stop by last night to drop it off, but no one was home, I guess." I couldn't hear much else, but shortly after, I heard my dad slam the door shut. My mom and I peeked out and asked what happened. My dad, his face quivering with anger, said that apparently Uncle Pete had been the one stomping around the house last night trying to get inside. He handed me the envelope, and I opened it to find a card with a gift card inside, thanking me for helping his daughter with softball lessons. A night of panic and terror, all at the hands of my creepy uncle. My dad had threatened him during the conversation at our front door, and after that, we never really spent time with him again. When I think about this story now, I'm at least glad I found out who was behind the incident. Otherwise, I might have spent years wondering if it had been burglars, a ghost, or something else. I'm thankful Abby was there to protect me. She most certainly scared him off when he was trying to get in through the basement. But even so, I'm still left with so many questions. What the hell was he thinking? Why did he need to drop that card off so late at night? Why didn't he get the hint that we weren't home when no one answered the front door? Why wouldn't he try calling the house to see if we were home? And worst of all, what would have happened had he gotten inside?